In the bustling heart of New York City, the studios of Good Morning America hummed with the usual morning energy on a crisp July day in 2025, as cameras rolled and lights beamed down on the sleek set where host George Stephanopoulos prepared to welcome one of Hollywood's most enduring icons, Tom Cruise. The interview was billed as a light-hearted chat to promote Cruise's latest action-packed blockbuster, a high-octane sequel in the Mission Impossible franchise that promised even more daring stunts and edge-of-your-seat thrills, drawing millions of viewers eager to hear from the star who had redefined cinematic heroism for decades. Stephanopoulos, known for his sharp journalistic prowess honed from years in political arenas and anchoring ABC's morning staple, greeted Cruise with a firm handshake and a warm smile, the audience applauding as the actor settled into the plush chair, his trademark charisma immediately lighting up the screen. As the segment began, the conversation flowed smoothly at first, with Cruise recounting tales from the set, including a particularly grueling helicopter sequence shot over treacherous mountain terrain that left even seasoned crew members breathless, emphasizing his commitment to performing his own stunts without relying on digital trickery or body doubles, a philosophy that had become synonymous with his brand of authentic adrenaline-fueled entertainment. Stephanopoulos nodded appreciatively, probing gently into Cruise's enduring appeal and how he maintained such physical prowess well into his 60s, eliciting laughs from the live studio audience with anecdotes about rigorous training regimens involving skydiving, rock climbing, and intense cardiovascular workouts that pushed the boundaries of human endurance. Yet, beneath the surface pleasantries, there lingered an undercurrent of tension, as whispers from production insiders suggested. As the heat in the Good Morning America studio intensified, George Stephanopoulos leaned forward, his eyes narrowing with the intensity of a seasoned interrogator, launching into a series of probing questions about Tom Cruise's long-standing ties to the Church of Scientology, framing it as a public concern given the organization's controversial practices and the actor's role as one of its most prominent advocates. Cruise, his face flushing slightly under the bright lights, responded with a firm defense, articulating how Scientology had provided him with tools for personal growth and discipline that fueled his professional success, dismissing criticisms as misunderstandings propagated by sensationalist media outlets hungry for scandal. The audience watched in stunned silence as Stephanopoulos cited specific allegations from former members and documentaries that painted the church in a negative light, questioning whether Cruise's endorsement perpetuated harmful doctrines, to which the actor retorted sharply that such narratives were fabricated and that he had dedicated his life to helping others through his beliefs, refusing to let his faith be weaponized against him on live television. Tensions boiled over when the host brought up Cruise's past public outbursts, including his infamous couch jumping on Oprah and his confrontation with a film critic over psychiatry, suggesting a pattern of volatility that undermined his image as a stable leading man, prompting Cruise to accuse Stephanopoulos of ambushing him with outdated gossip instead of focusing on substantive discussion. The verbal barbs flew fast and furious, with Cruise's voice rising in octaves of frustration, declaring that journalists like Stephanopoulos prioritized clickbait over genuine inquiry, while the host maintained his ground, insisting that public figures bore responsibility for transparency in an era of accountability movements sweeping through entertainment. Off-camera. Midway through the escalating confrontation on Good Morning America, Tom Cruise's frustration reached a boiling point as George Stephanopoulos delved deeper into sensitive territory, referencing leaked documents and lawsuits involving Scientology that had implicated high-profile members in financial improprieties and coercive practices, demanding Cruise address whether he had ever witnessed or participated in such activities during his years of involvement. The actor, his eyes flashing with defiance, shot back that these were baseless smears designed to tarnish lives and institutions without evidence, emphasizing his own experiences of empowerment and community support within the church that had helped him overcome personal adversities like multiple divorces and career setbacks. Stephanopoulos, undeterred, countered by noting public records of Cruise's vocal advocacy, including anti-psychiatry campaigns that had alienated parts of the medical community, questioning if such stances endangered vulnerable individuals seeking mental health aid, a line of inquiry that struck at the core of Cruise's convictions and elicited a sharp rebuke from the star about respecting diverse paths to well-being. The audience gasped as voices overlapped in a cacophony of rebuttals, Cruise accusing the host of bias influenced by mainstream narratives hostile to alternative spiritualities, while Stephanopoulos defended his role as a truth-seeker holding power to account, the exchange devolving into a meta-debate on the boundaries of acceptable questioning in celebrity interviews. Production staff hovered nervously off-set, mics picking up every heated word as ratings soared, the live feed capturing the raw authenticity that scripted television often lacked, with Cruise's body language, clenched fists and forward lean, betraying the storm within. The atmosphere in the Good Morning America studio crackled with electricity as the brutal exchange between Tom Cruise and George Stephanopoulos hit its zenith, with the host refusing to relent on inquiries into the financial aspects of Scientology's operations, citing investigative reports that alleged exorbitant fees for advancement levels and questioning Cruise's role in recruiting celebrities to bolster the organization's coffers. Cruise, his composure cracking under the barrage, articulated a passionate counter-narrative, describing the church's structure as a voluntary path to enlightenment that had transformed his life and career, rejecting the portrayal of exploitation as a distortion by those threatened by its growth and efficacy. Stephanopoulos parried by invoking testimonies from ex-members who claimed manipulation and isolation, probing whether Cruise had ever pressured associates into joining, to which the actor responded with indignation, decrying the invasion of privacy and the selective amplification of negative stories that ignored countless success tales within the faith community. The back and forth grew more personal, Cruise challenging Stephanopoulos' credentials as an impartial journalist given his political background and ties to establishment media, implying an agenda-driven assault rather than fair discourse, while the host upheld his duty to inform the public about influential figures' affiliations. Studio lights seemed to intensify the sweat on brows, the audience riveted as this unfolded in real time, a departure from the show's typical feel-good fare into uncharted territory of confrontation that would dominate headlines for days. Cruise drew on analogies from his films, likening the scrutiny to villainous plots thwarted by heroic resolve, but Stephanopoulos dismissed the dramatics, insisting on accountability in an age where celebrities wielded godlike influence over cultural narratives. With the Good Morning America interview spiraling into chaos, Tom Cruise's tolerance for George Stephanopoulos' relentless probing reached its breaking point, as the host circled back to Cruise's family dynamics, insinuating that Scientology's policies on disconnection had strained relationships with his children from previous marriages. A deeply personal jab that elicited a visible wince from the actor amid the glaring studio lights. Cruise, voice steady but laced with steel, refuted the claims as tabloid fiction perpetuated to sell papers, emphasizing his devotion to family and how his beliefs had fortified rather than fractured those bonds, sharing veiled insights into private reconciliations that defied public speculation. Stephanopoulos, pressing the advantage, referenced court documents and interviews from ex-spouses highlighting ideological clashes, questioning if Cruise's public persona masked private turmoil, to which the star countered by accusing the media of exploiting vulnerability for ratings, drawing a line between his cinematic family-man roles and real-life complexities shielded from scrutiny. The audience shifted uncomfortably, the once applauding crowd now hushed witnesses to a dissection that felt more therapy session than talk show, with Cruise's defenses growing fervent as he touted Scientology's role in fostering communication tools that resolved conflicts, dismissing detractors as uninformed opportunists. Production cues faltered, commercials delayed as the duel captivated, social feeds ablaze with #Cruise vs GMA trending globally, fans dissecting every gesture and inflection for signs of victory or defeat. Stephanopoulos maintained his offensive, linking these personal matters to Cruise's choice of roles portraying resilient loners, suggesting art imitated life in uncomfortable ways, prompting the actor to pivot to broader themes of forgiveness and growth that his faith espoused, rejecting reductive psychoanalyses. As the confrontation dragged,